Held on the 11th of June, the Cosford Airshow was the RAF's only airshow of 2017. In this video we bring you the highlights of the aerial display, starting with the RAF Falcon's parachute display team. But first, here's our pick of the action.
The team coach will be looking out of the aircraft with the open door, and today for all of the aircraft spotters out there, it is a Dornier 228 and it's now running in to the overhead. So any moment we're listening to in at this little radio. Ready, set, go! And leaving the aircraft and into free fall at 120 miles an hour. Pulling their parachutes. They're checking now to make sure that their parachutes, that they can fly them to the ground. They're satisfied now, and they're looking for Kerry Marshman, and he's the coach with the white smoke. And they're then slotting into their positions, one above Kerry. 1, 2, 3, so up the stack. Now the winds, ladies and gentlemen, up there are blowing at 25 to 35 knots. The man at the very top, okay, the three at the very top are the newcomers to the team this year. But just look how quick they got into that stack, ladies and gentlemen, fighting with the winds. But ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause. Come on, welcome them here. What a fantastic display we're seeing here today. Battling with those winds, but getting into that magnificent stack. The only parachute display team in the world to be able to perform this. Look at that, right above each other. An absolute perfect stack. And I'll introduce you to the team as they come in here to land. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few weeks ago, we were at the Palace in London performing to the royalty up there, and I had the lovely job of commentating there. It was absolutely magnificent. Ladies and gentlemen, as they land here today, the first down is Flight Sergeant Kerry Marshman. He's the team coach, and he's from South Wales. Next down is our youngest member of the team, our little baby on the team, which is Corporal Alex Williams from Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire.
Next up, a Grob 109 from AeroSparx.
So it is departing runway 24. Car park looks pretty full, not much space left to go. AeroSparx running in.
AeroSparx usually fly two-ship dusk displays with pyrotechnics. In fact, they're the UK's only aerobatic team licensed to fly after civil sunset. However, at Cosford, it was lead pilot Guy Westgate performing a solo display with some very impressive technology on board. This was a world first. Never before had a 360-degree video been live streamed from an aircraft's cockpit during an aerial display.
So white smoke going on and the first black smoke firing now. 60 video, from an airshow aircraft actually doing a display.
Guys, currently doing loops and everything, which is fantastic. But remember, guys, Youth Aviation app, you can be live streaming directly from inside that aeroplane as we speak now. You can see exactly what that pilot is seeing and what he's doing. Great display from Guy, working really hard with the wind, as you can see with the smoke. I hope you're all waving, because as he's getting lower, you'll get clearer.
The breathtaking onboard footage comes from the AeroSparx team, and we're very grateful to them for allowing us to use it.
AeroSparx, clear to land runway 24.
With Guy back on the ground, the next act to be cleared in was a four-ship of Grob tutors from Birmingham University Air Squadron.
So here you see the four aircraft flying in box formation, led by Squadron Leader Jed Shepek, who is the Officer Commanding the University of Birmingham Air Squadron. Jed has a rotary background, and prior to his tour here, he flew the Chinook as Royal Air Force Odium. He has served with the Royal Air Force for over 30 years. Flying with him is Acting Pilot Officer Joshua Mann. Joshua is in his third year as a student studying aerospace technology at Coventry University. Put your hands together for the home team. This is Birmingham University Air Squadron.
Poor camera work from me heralds the arrival of the Battle of Britain Memorial flight. Celebrating their 60th anniversary this year, the BBMF promised a special 5-ship display with the Lancaster, which unfortunately was still in maintenance, so the display instead consisted of a Hurricane Mark 2C, Spitfire 2A, Spitfire 5B and Spitfire LF Mark 16E. One of the most distant displays of the day came from BAE Systems Avro Anson's C-19.
He's giving us a nice little farewell. Perhaps you'd like to wave at Peter, because that's been lovely. And here he goes.
Now the first jets of the day. Mark Patrice Strikemaster Mark 82 in Omani Air Force colours leads John Corley flying a Jet Provost Mark 52 in South Arabian Air Force colours in an airfield attack roll demonstration.
In the lead, Grace Strikemaster. And woof.
We're very grateful to Strikemaster Display UK for supplying this excellent cockpit footage.
And to finish off those two strafes, yes. Lovely topside pass. Leveling out.
much on the export. And the split. Very hard to find out here what Ian's name is, because everybody calls him Galley. I thought that was his name.
Ian Gallagher provided a brief display in the ASK-21.
No aircraft, no engine in that aircraft. He's going to do it all on the potential energy of the aircraft, put there by getting it to height. Helicopter lifting, flying a helicopter often likened to playing the piano in a shower while standing on 2 bars of soap. Every limb's doing something.
Cosford was the first appearance of Lift West's Westland Whirlwind HAR-10 in the flying display at a major airshow. It's the only Whirlwind flying in the world today.
So here we go.
Lift West have also acquired a pair of Westland Wessex helicopters, the successor to the Whirlwind, one of which is also being restored to flight.
So this is going to be largely guessed. Do you know what? I think Andrew's going to do this at a height where I can't see him. Thank you very much. Yeah, so slightly less than animated orange flight suited board there. Below the helicopter. It started life in 1949 as the Sikorsky S-55. The US used it in their Air Force, their Army, their Marines, and Coast Guard. Couldn't get enough of it.
Just a 3-ship from the Blades at Cosford due to aircraft unserviceability.
Blade 2 Andy Evans will be swapping from 2 and 4 positions today to cover the missing aircraft.
Their display was also affected by Cosford's display regulations. Cosford is under the Military Aviation Authority, whereas the Blades validate under the Civil Aviation Authority and have a CAA waiver to fly less than 230 metres from the crowd. But this waiver isn't recognised by the MAA, meaning the team were noticeably more distant than usual.
Keep your eyes to the right now. Closing speed of around 350 miles per hour. They're going to pull up into the vertical for you and perform the pair's tail slide by falling backwards through their own smoke.
All the Blades pilots are ex-Red Arrows, and this year the team is led by Ben Murphy, who's also a Challenger class pilot in the Red Bull Air Race.
This manoeuvre is dedicated to the Battle of Britain. As previously said, the Blades were formed in 2006 by ex-RAF pilots Andy Offer and Chris Norton. The Blades are now going to pull up into the quarter clover and come back down for our second break of the display. Please get ready for the fan break.
The Breitling Wingwalkers continued the family entertainment theme with their pair of Boeing Stearman.
Pilot is Martin Carrington, the most experienced pilot of all, 15 years on the team. He's also their director of flying. flew for the first time at the age of 9.
Then a complete change of pace, Rich Goodwin in his highly modified Pitts S2S, which he calls the muscle biplane. Rich is one of the most popular solo aerobatic pilots in the UK and is constantly evolving his display. Last year he introduced pyrotechnics at selected venues, and in the near future is planning on displaying another Pitts modified with a jet engine underneath the fuselage. This is Goodwin's trademark manoeuvre, a low-altitude knife-edge pass along the runway as the finale to his display. In what can only be described as a total farce, after 4 decades of displaying safely in front of the crowd at Cosford, the Red Arrows have now been relegated to a new display axis running perpendicular to the crowd line south of the runway. Why the home team flew so far away when foreign militaries and civilian pilots were deemed safe enough to fly in the usual position is still up for debate. But regardless of who made the decision and why, one thing is certain: the change has to be reverted. We won't look too much at the Red Arrows here, there are better places to see them. The RAF Typhoon was thankfully spared this treatment, developing a technical fault that relegated the aircraft to a single flypast, meaning there was no RAF fast jet display at their only remaining airshow.
There go Enid, keep your eyes on the coloured smoke of Jippo!
Here comes the Typhoon. It was genuinely preferable to get one close pass rather than the anticipated aerobatic display somewhere over Worcestershire. In the worst of the weather, a Rockwell B-1B Lancer from the United States Air Force.
Recovery from the diving fire profile, delivering a successful rocket strike, Jim reacts dynamically to avoid any ground fire, here conducting a 270-degree wingover.
The first proper air display in over an hour came from the attack helicopter display team. This year they're displaying just a single WAH-64D Apache in a fiery roll demonstration.
The aircraft is pitched to 60 degrees nose up and 90 degrees angle of bank. Whilst coordinating control inputs as well as monitoring the power required, the 10-ton helicopter can be flown back over its right shoulder through 360 degrees.
Then, once again, a complete change of pace, as the only B-17 left flying in Europe ran in to begin its display.
Her career on the small screen started with We'll Meet Again, but of course we know her probably from Memphis Belle, in which she was the star. You can see that cowling quite clearly as she passes, that yellow and black cowling on the inner engine. Note, she's showing us her underside, she's showing us her bomb bay. Not as big as you might think. Her length's about to extend down the whole fuselage. Decision made by the Americans to have a ball turret to defend the underneath of the aircraft.
This, it would seem, was an accident. The US Air Force B-52 crew were not cleared in for their flypast, but the result was a wonderful integration of the two displays.
There goes the smoke. Point the way for Sally B to go home, just like the civilians did in occupied Europe. When they saw the damaged bombers probably at about that height, you too can point the way for Sally B to go home.
Continuing on the US Air Force theme, here's Peter Teichmann in his P-51D Mustang in the colours of the Tuskegee Airmen. And then, on to one of the stars of the show.
It is an honor for us to display here in Cosford, and I would like to say thank you and hello also to our Swiss Defense Attaché, Colonel Lerch, and his lovely wife. PC-7 team is opening its presentation with its brand, the Flying Diamonds.
This is the PC-7 team, one of Switzerland's 2 national aerobatic teams. As the name suggests, they fly 9 PC-7s, making them the largest military turboprop team in the world.
Type Pilatus PC-7s. So this is actually for the extra little effort. The team now in big Delta overhead Cosford. Especially for UK, for Cosford.
Talk to any member of the PC-7 team and they'll tell you they perform an aerial ballet, not a high-octane aerobatic display. But it was a dynamic routine, and a very polished one at that.
Thank you, Cosford. And with a snowball, our cloud on the brake. Groups. So they approach head on, and now it's all about situational awareness, meaning you have to be absolutely in control of your speed, altitude, angle of attack, G-forces, and obviously of the opponent and your wingman. And let's see, number 7, our first solist, is participating also in the 2 versus 2, a vertical climb, and he will push now over the nose, directly into the cockpits.
The display is made even more impressive when you consider that these are not full-time aerobatic pilots, they just do this on weekends.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the spin. Excellent, nicely done, the tunnel, and now the aircraft are performing another formation change, and you have the very rare opportunity to see those PC-7 in landing configuration with the gear lowered down, close to minimum speed. A demanding formation in this windy condition. Pilatus to honor the manufacturer, and this manufacturer is located in the heart of Switzerland, close to a mountain, and guess what the name of this mountain is? Obviously, it's called Pilatus. Ladies and gentlemen, looping in the formation Pilatus here in Cosford. It's a bit bumpy up there, I can see and I can hear from my friends. But ladies and gentlemen, 8 aircraft now all together. During the displays in Switzerland, normally we do a little bit of advertising. Thanks, have a good afternoon, enjoy the day, stay safe, and maybe see you next time. Your PC-7 team, your Switzerland partner.
But this was the highlight for many, the Tornado A200 from Italy's Reparto Sperimentale Volo.
And now it gets back for the glider turn.
A few years ago, a small civilian aerobatic team participated in the Cosford Airshow on static display. A member of that team is now very senior in the Italian Air Force, and this is the result. So never underestimate the importance of a seemingly dull static appearance.
From the Italian Tornado crew, and thanks everybody to be here today.
These were the commander's greetings, and today is also a special day for Captain Gabriel Ioffi, as it turns 36. We wish you happy birthday. Engine thrusts and a remarkable rudder use are needed to balance the aircraft flying at 1,200 kilometers per hour. Vertical exit with a freestyle roll. Thank you, Captain Gabriele Ioffi. Thank you, Captain Paolo Friella. Thank you for joining us at Cosford Airshow. Thank you for watching.
Watch now as he changes direction by pulling up. It looks like it's going to be a loop, but a half roll on the way up. Turns the manoeuvre into a reverse half Cuban, and then Andy pulls through, changing his direction by a complete 180 degrees.
The term change of pace certainly applies here.
Now just to prove he can fly a complete loop, this time Andy keeps his aircraft upright, but once again wishes to change direction.
This is the RAF Tutor solo display.
Then as the aircraft comes over the top, 180 degree roll to come back down the other side. Well, Andy has flown the Harrier in northern Iraq and the Balkans, and he's now an instructor on this aircraft, the RAF Tutor. So there, as Andy pulls up into a kind of offset barrel roll, you can see the RAF roundel on the underside of the aircraft, shining beautifully in this afternoon sunshine. So the first aircraft to get airborne is in fact an enemy battlefield support aircraft. It's Antonov AN2.
What followed was, well, a little odd. It was called the Battlefield Support Finale, although it wasn't actually the final display of the day. Kickstarting the piece, perhaps the slowest dogfight in history, a UH-1 Huey pursuing an AN-2 apparently at less than 26 miles per hour.
One of the features that makes this aircraft so good at the slower speed end of the range is it has retractable slats on the front edges of the wings. Now when the aircraft reaches a certain speed, these extend automatically and that increases the lift from the wing area. Now I am not making this up, those slats are actually just held back by large elastic bands. When the airflow reaches a certain speed over those elastic bands, out pops the slats.
Unrealistic though it may look, this scenario did actually happen. One assumes, however, that the real thing may have been a bit more interesting.
Capable of carrying troops, equipment, casualties, and of course armed as well. Often fitted with a variety of machine guns and rockets, able of providing direct fire. Gunship Hueys were often called frogs or hogs, and as previously mentioned, those that were not armed were known as slicks, although they were often given door machine guns for their own self-protection. Everyone called it the Leech.
Ending the scenario, attack runs by Tony De Bruyne's OV-10B Bronco with an alarmingly smoky engine.
I should say Marines rather than they.
Look at the smoke.
There's more now, actually.
The actual finale to the show was the RAF Chinook display team.
Agile and capable, the speed and manoeuvrability of this machine makes it an excellent battlefield helicopter. The 2017 Chinook display captain is Flight Lieutenant Andy Smith, an 18th Squadron instructor. Andy joined the Royal Air Force in 2006 and was posted to RAF Odium to fly Chinooks in 2010. Since arriving on the Chinook force, he's taken part in numerous exercises around the world, including 4 on-parade tours in Afghanistan.
The Chinook display was withdrawn in mid-2016, apparently because it caused airframe fatigue, so it was very pleasing to see the 2017 display was back and virtually unchanged from the previous year.
Joining Andy today is Flight Lieutenant Ryan Stone. Ryan Stone joined the Air Force in 2008, completed his OCU in January 2016 aircraft.
There is of course plenty more to Cosford than just the aerial display, so if you want to find out more and read our full review of the show, visit our website at www.thisisflight.net. I'll see you again with our video report from Riyadh and also our live coverage and podcasts during the show. Until then, from me, Adam Landau, goodbye.